What if the Middle East is once again on the brink of a major war? Fresh military strikes, rising tensions between the United States and Iran, and growing concerns over global oil supplies are raising a critical question. Is another regional conflict about to erupt? And if it does, the consequences could reach far beyond the Middle East, affecting economies, energy prices, and millions of people around the world. Here's what you need to know. Tensions in the Middle East appear to be escalating once again, as hopes for a diplomatic breakthrough between the United States and Iran continue to fade. According to reports from U.S. military officials, recent incidents involving attacks on American surveillance assets and threats to maritime security have prompted military responses targeting Iranian military infrastructure and radar systems. Iran, however, has strongly condemned these actions, claiming that it has carried out retaliatory operations against U.S. military positions in the region. Iranian officials have warned that any further escalation could trigger an even stronger response. Perhaps the most concerning development is the apparent collapse of ceasefire efforts. For months, there had been speculation that back-channel negotiations between Washington and Tehran could lead to a temporary agreement aimed at reducing tensions. But the latest military exchanges have cast serious doubt on whether diplomacy can still succeed. Adding to the uncertainty, U.S. President Donald Trump has signaled a tougher approach, suggesting that if negotiations fail, military options remain on the table. Iran, on the other hand, maintains that it will not accept any agreement reached under pressure or threats. But beyond the political rhetoric lies a much bigger global concern: the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway, located between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, is one of the world's most strategically important maritime routes. Nearly 20% of global oil shipments pass through this corridor every single day. Any disruption in this region could send shockwaves through international energy markets, potentially driving up fuel prices and putting additional strain on the global economy. Another key player in this developing crisis is Oman. For decades, Oman has often served as a quiet mediator between the United States and Iran, helping facilitate diplomatic communication during periods of heightened tension. However, reports suggest that growing disputes surrounding regional security and maritime operations may be placing additional pressure on Oman's balancing role. Analysts warn that if Oman's ability to mediate is weakened, future peace efforts could become even more complicated. So, what happens next? At this stage, both Washington and Tehran continue to express a desire to avoid a full-scale war. Yet, military preparedness remains high on both sides. That contradiction is exactly why the situation remains so fragile. If diplomatic channels remain open and negotiations resume, there may still be a path toward de-escalation. But if retaliatory attacks continue and political positions harden, the Middle East could move closer to a broader and potentially devastating conflict. For now, the world is watching closely. Will diplomacy prevail, or are we witnessing the early stages of another major geopolitical crisis? Only time will tell. What do you think? Can diplomacy prevent another conflict in the Middle East, or is the region heading toward a larger confrontation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this report informative, subscribe to AIN Global for fact-based reporting, in-depth analysis, and the stories shaping our world.